The aftermath of the Edo election has been marred by controversy, as the People's Democratic Party has voiced its concerns on certain issues and also heads to court to challenge the results. Civil society organizations have also accused the Independent National Electoral Commission of irregularities. The PDP's candidate, Dr. Asue Ighodalo, has earlier been affirmed as the duly nominated candidate by the appeal court in Abuja, paving the way for his participation in the governorship poll. Now, joining me virtually to share their thoughts on this, or his thought on this today, is Darlington Okpebholo-Ray, the lead spokesperson for the Team Asue Media Organization. Thank you for your time, Darlington.
Thank you so much, Jacob. How are you doing today?
Very well. I believe you are too.
Very well, yeah, of course.
Okay, great. Let me start off this way. The elections, of course, have come and gone, and we are beginning to see reactions. Open question. How would you assess the conduct of the just concluded poll in Edo State?
Well, thank you, Dakbo, for this opportunity. And I must say, with every sense of responsibility, that what we saw in Edo on the 21st of September, just a few days ago, was a manifestation or execution of the promise made to the APC in Edo by the present president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who had in one of the address, as when he handed over the flag of the party to, Monday Okpebholo, who then was immersed in a controversy between himself and his current running mate, who was going to be the ticket bearer for the party. We have it on videos, which went viral. I have copies of it everywhere, circulated. The president of Nigeria openly telling them that he was going to give them Edo. And what he said was like this: do you want me to give you Edo? They all chorused, yes. He said, okay, now I, Ahmed Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I am the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I am going to give you Edo, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federation.
I'm sorry, you said you have a video to that effect.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have a video to that.
In your words, you are alleging that the president said it was going to hand over.
He may try to know that I am a British-trained journalist. I live in the UK, and I don't talk anyhow. I talk with facts. I have video. It's not just me. It's everywhere. I have video where the president of Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria, made that promise to them, to the Edo State APC. And since then, they went about boasting around the city, the states, that they were going to use federal might to take Edo. They were not just talking about winning Edo. They were talking about taking Edo, capturing Edo. So what we saw in Edo over the weekend was just the execution of the promise made by the president of Nigeria.
When was this speech given?
This speech was just given between February 22nd and the end of February. I don't have the direct date, but it happened when the primary was going on. If you recall, they had a rerun where there was dispute between Dennis Idahosa, his current running mate, and himself, that's Monday Okpebholo, who was the winner. And then while the likes of Pastor Seji Zayamu were promoting and projecting Monday Okpebholo, his current godfather, Adam Soshomole, was pushing for Denko, that is Dennis Idahosa. And they went, and the president ordered that they should allow Okpebholo, who is from the Edo Central axis of the state, to be the flag bearer. And after that, they all settled among themselves, the best of the same faith, that they all agreed and they celebrated. Okay. And the president, in that particular meeting, promised them that I just quoted what he said to you. I'll send you the video, then you will listen to what I'm saying. Then he said, I will give you Edo. Do you want me to give you Edo? They all said yes. The chorus, yes. And he said he was going to do it. And so what you just saw on Saturday was just his machinery, so to say, his actors, state actors, both security and the other arm of his government, which is of course the INEC. They all came to Edo State to ensure that the word promised by the president was ensured that it came to pass. So there was really not an election, because that was why after that promise, you saw them doing all kind of arrests, all kind of intimidation, coming to PDP's leaders' houses and arresting them, breaking into their homes, taking them on top of their wives, taking them away from their fathers, away from children. So it was not just for them, the Edo APC. It was a battle. They thought they must win. They must win. They brought out everything, so much so that you saw the chief of defense staff coming to Edo State to tell you that Edo State was going to have a free affair, that the president has sent him. But of course, we know what the president sent him was to ensure that the promise he made to his party come to pass.
Okay, sorry, Darlington, I'm going to interrupt you now because I remember that that meeting was held, and subsequent meetings too, security meetings, did happen. And the outgoing governor, Godwin Obaseki, did express some level of confidence ahead of the polls in the security architecture. And even on the day of elections, your candidate and even the governor expressed some level of optimism in the voting process, which they said, was pretty much peaceful and smooth. So at what point do you suggest, or do you think that maybe some sort of hanky-panky, alleged hanky-panky, if at all, was played during the entire process?
Well, you see, there are two, the process leading to the election, the announcement of a result, is a long process, it's a journey. Talking about the security, as at the point the governor was already telling them that, okay, he has some, because the men came as gentlemen, the IG of police came in, the chief of defense staff came in, they had a meeting with him, and of course, he would take them for their words. And he said, okay, with the conversation I've had with the security heads who have had meetings with me, I am sure everything is going to be okay security-wise. But you see, there are different forms of rigging. And these men you have in APC, they are I'm sorry to say, they are men who are masters in this art of rigging elections. So they have done it time and over again. So the area of talking about security, fine. If I recall, before then, the governor has said that he had no confidence in the police. When the police came into Edo and started arresting people, they said they were getting order from above to arrest PDP people. PDP wrote petition about someone who said he was going to, the chairman of the party, Tenebe, who said we were going to organize boys to stone the governor, to throw stones at the governor, and the police acted not, they did nothing about it. But I don't know, they just cook up something, and they all came, they swapped into the state and started taking our leaders, the local government chairman, councillors, and whoever they thought was going to play any significant role for PDP to win that election was being hunted down. So much so that even leaders who were mobilizing for the election, on election day, couldn't come out because police were everywhere. There were security reports that if they had come out, they were going to be arrested. For example, in my polling unit in Eastern Northeast, Urumi, Ward 5, the leader of the party in our local government couldn't come to vote because there were federal policemen everywhere who came in from Abuja and said they were coming to get him arrested. He couldn't come out. They were everywhere. And when they pick you, you don't know where they take you. Before you know where, we know where they take them. Would have taken up to 2-3 weeks before we start hearing they are in Abuja and they are there. It was so terrible that they did all that, and there was voters apathy. Most of the people that were supposed to vote didn't come out. They were scared they don't know what was going to happen. Then apart from that, taking the votes, the vote cast by voters from the polling unit to collation center is a different process entirely. What we have from polling unit that were uploaded in the INEC RF, we all have our number. From the 192 wards in Edo State, we had a situation room in PDP where these things were coming in, these results were coming, they were being uploaded regularly, they were being uploaded to IRF. But when it came to a point in Ighodalo and I think it was also Oredo or Ego, somewhere in Edo State, they stopped uploading. They stopped the talks of APC, which at this point had overpowered the PDP people that were there, and of course enabled by the security apparatus that the president sent to Edo State to intimidate our party member. They took away those materials with which they were doing the compilation and the collation of results. So that was where they went to manipulate figures. So it's not about whether the process was hit-free. If you can say the process was violence-free in some area, we say fine, it was violence-free, but what happened after that? When they went to collation, said, like I told you, I'm a British-trained journalist. I have my cameras everywhere. My cameras were everywhere. I particularly sent cameras to Esako West, where Oshomole voted, Esako West and Edo, Okpebholo-Ray and Oredo. My cameras were there, and of course, my unit, my local government in Esan Northeast. So we have all of them. We have all the material. What happened? What transpired? Without them knowing, our men were everywhere. We saw everything. We have them on tape. So they can't just go scot-free like that. What they did was total subversion of the wishes and aspirations of Edo people. The mandate was stolen. The wishes of the people of Edo State was not made public, was not announced by INEC. Rather, what we have in the RF, in the INEC's own system, was totally different from what INEC man was reading to the world that day. So we have all of that. We know them. We all know them. We know them one by one. We know their statuses, what they do and what they cannot do.
Sorry, so by them, because we need to go on a break, by them, can you be precise? Who exactly are you referring to that you claim you know?
Of course, the REC in Edo State was part of it. The chairman of the party in Edo State.
Part of what exactly?
National chairman.
Part of what exactly?
Part of the manipulation or cooking up of figures, of course. They were the one that took over the INEC office, the collation centers, and started all the materials. They all had all the materials. They had all this material that were with which all these numbers were tabulated. They cooked up. They manufactured this number. You saw our agent that was there in the area. The whole world saw him, Dr.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we need to go on a break. When we come back, of course, we will pick up. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This is still Politics HQ on News Central Television. And of course, we are discussing the fallout of the Edo Guber polls, which held over the weekend in Edo State. I still have with me my guest, Darlington Okpebholo-Ray. He's joining virtually. Thank you for staying with me, Darlington. Now, one issue that was, of course, pretty much discussed or observed during the process is the issue of vote buying. And this has been talked about extensively during the process. There are strong allegations that there was activities of vote buying. Even some individuals were arrested in that regard. You know, there are even suggestions that the buying happened almost across parties. So I would like you to speak on that, the issue of vote buying during the polls.
Let me tell you, my brother, the issue of vote buying in Nigerian politics is almost becoming a norm. From the congresses, from the primaries to the election proper, you see them buying votes, spending a huge sum of money to buy votes. So even for the process with which they get their candidates is fraudulent, if you want to go by the issue of buying vote. But I'm aware that in this Edo election, particularly in where I sent cameras, where I sent my reporters to go and cover, that a lot of APC leaders were captured in camera, sharing money, 10,000 naira, at some point 15,000 naira. I have all of them on tape. And you see, if they say it's both parties or all the parties involved that shared money, I think the onus is on who we alleges to prove. Like
okay, so I'm going to ask you directly, did the PDP in the state engage in vote buying? Was there any voter inducement?
In PDP, the PDP in Edo State didn't have any reason to engage in the exercise of vote buying because we have as everybody knew, a candidate that was much more prepared, which was sellable, which is loved by everybody. And there was no point buying. I'm just telling you now that I saw in camera that was sent to me by my reporters in Edo State, in Edo Central, Auchi in particular, in Edo South. I mean, it's South is that my local government, where monies were exchanging hands. 15,000, 10,000, and these were caught on camera, and they vote people. Somebody will stand by the ballot box. They will vote. They will show the person who they voted for APC. Once the person sees that, it signals that it's truly APC. He goes to the corner. Some of them were arrested and later left the hook. You know, of course, you can't do anything to them. They are APC. Let me tell you one thing, my brother. In Nigeria, we run what we call a federal system of government. The word of the president is seen as omnipotent. Anything he says, he makes a pronouncement, and it becomes very necessary for his worshippers, so to say, in quote, his worshippers, to ensure that what he said comes to pass. So what he just had to do was to say, I will give you Edo. That's all. I will give you Edo, and that word couldn't have gone unfulfilled. That was why his men, his soldiers, his policemen, and of course even the INEC came to Edo State to ensure that that word made, that pronouncement made by the president came to pass. So it's all about, while we were campaigning, Asue Ighodalo was coming out with his manifesto, telling them what, you know, one thing they didn't know was that the whole world was watching. Don't forget it was an off-season election where the whole world was monitoring what was going on. And before then, we have raised an alarm here, even in the UK and the US, what was going to happen. The voice I'm talking about of the president is even here in the UK, where he made promise to them was going to give them Edo. So it's not a way about whether it's real or not.
Okay, I would like us to go and, talk about the role of the outgoing governor, you know, during the entire process, talking about His Excellency, Governor Godwin Obaseki. One would, of course, we saw the drama, the build up to all of that, and then one must definitely tie down with his face-off with Adams Oshiomhole. One would have expected that maybe to a large extent the influence of the governor, did play out. I would like to know your take. The role of the outgoing governor in all of the campaign of the People's Democratic Party in the state. How would you speak to it in terms of its influence?
Well, you see, the outgoing governor is the leader of the party in Edo State. He is the state governor and the leader of the party. He ensured that the best candidates emerged, which is Dr. Asue Ighodalo, my principal. He ensured that he emerged, and he followed him throughout the process of campaign, and that was what was expected of him as the leader of the party. As a matter of fact, he led the campaign from the front. And what else would anybody? While he was campaigning, he was telling them how sure he was about Asue Ighodalo, and of course how Asue Ighodalo was going to continue from what he has done, the achievement he has made, and some of the foundations he has laid. What else would anybody do? He couldn't have done anything. But we, like I said, everything in Nigeria it revolves around the federal. Once they say the federal says, that is why we talk about true federalism. We should, if you really practice true federalism in Nigeria, where the federal, the strength, the power that is in federal is limited, while the state is much more powerful than the central, you discover that is where the people will really get
this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going with that question as a follow-up. There are strong, allegations that the outgoing governor, to a very large extent, maybe did not help the People's Democratic Party candidates in the state. And I'll tell you some of those strong insinuations. Number one, the fact that some legacy members, it's alleged, might have walked against, the candidacy of Asue Ighodalo, and also the fact that the allegation that the outgoing governor was not even in good terms with the royal palace, and aside a list of other allegations ranging from the fact that in terms of infrastructure, he really did not deliver. Some even said he demolished homes. So I would like you to speak to this.
Well, first and foremost, I will talk about the PDP legacy group, because that was where I belonged. As of the time we had our primaries in August, on 22nd of February, there was no longer legacy group. A number of them who felt disgruntled left, and of course we remained with the governor, and the governor played his role as the leader of a party in Edo State. Everything cannot be the way everybody wants it to be. This is politics, and it's about interest. One thing they don't know, a lot of them didn't know, was that the politics is a matter of interest at a particular time. Not every time. Everything cannot be the way you want it every time. So it's give and take. This is what we felt which was good. The governor followed it up, and we all followed it. We have no regret about it. We followed the governor. We followed Asue Ighodalo. I was part of the legacy group, and we stayed put with him. So that being said, I don't think he has any issue with that, because a number of us who followed him didn't think about whether legacy or no legacy. What we looked at was it the turn of Edo Central? Yes. Is it the governor, this candidate, is he from Edo Central? Yes. Is the governor supporting him? Yes. And we went along with it. So the legacy people you call legacy people, they didn't want that. They wanted Edo South as somebody who is from the same senatorial district, the same local government, the same ward, from the governor that was going to take over from the governor. And we felt, no, that cannot happen. That cannot happen. We cannot allow if someone from Oredo, for example, to take over from the governor who was living and is from Oredo. So that was the battle we fought, and we thought what is fair is fair. We talk about equity, and most of these people who fought against Atiku Abubakar in 2023, they were the ones they came to Edo and be singing a different tone. So my question for them was, if you fought against Atiku Abubakar, you joined Wike in 2023 to say that you are fighting for equity, justice, and fairness, that a Fulani man cannot be allowed to take over from a Fulani man, which is Atiku and Buhari. Now we settled that, we fought that, and we joined you and your group to support a Southerner, which it is President Tinubu. We all felt that we must allow equity, justice, and fairness to take place. We followed it. Then he came to Edo. You saying guys that were singing the song of equity, fairness, and justice at the federal level, you came to Edo and you were doing totally against that same thing you stood for in 2023. Why can you sing one song in 2023 and 2024 you came and started singing another song? Then I told them, no, we can't do that. One of the guys they wanted to fly in, told him was Obedehama. Obedehama from Oredo, Obedehama from the state local government with this government that is living. So how can that one be? Then I told the one who was the leader, who said he's the leader of a legacy. I said, okay, if you say this man must go, you were the architect, you were the arrowhead of equity, peace, and justice and fairness against Atiku in 2023. How can you come in 2024, just about a few months after? We're talking about February now. If you were not even to a year, you are now saying that the kind of battle you use us to fight against Atiku, you want to come and do it in Edo State. And we said, no, some of us are intelligent, we are good enough to follow our own path. We have our own brain. We said, no, we can't do this. Equity
Mr. Okpebholo-Ray, I'm sorry, I'm afraid we really need to go. We really need to go. Thank you so much for your time on the program. We deeply appreciate your thought.